This is a DIY soldering practice kit, and after discounts, it cost me just 88p from AliExpress. Despite the ambiguous name here, I think this is going to be a fun little kit to assemble. So let's look inside and see what it is. So, as you can see, this is a small little PCB that allows us to look at how Ohm's law works. The kit includes this quite thick little PCB where we're going to install a bunch of different resistors and the LEDs. We also have a dip switch. This will go in to allow us to turn the LEDs on and off. We have all of the LEDs we'll be installing, a DC barrel jack, and as it says on the back here, with a recommended source voltage of 5 volts. We have some mounting hardware to keep it slightly off the table, some little standoffs. And we have a lot of different resistors, one for each position. So we should have a resistor of each of these values. As you saw, there's also some instructions. We have a nice illustration of how the kit should look once it's assembled with that mounting hardware I just mentioned. And the kit's in a variety of languages. And we can see some English just up here. Again, recommended working voltage of 5 volts DC. It says we can measure the resistance with a multimeter or using the coloured rings. Reminds us about the LED's positive and negative poles and that the shorter leg is negative. And as it says, the voltage is constant. The smaller the resistance and the larger the current, the higher the brightness of the LED. And we can practice our soldering skills and understand Ohm's law. So for this kit, it's going to be crucially important that we get the resistors in the right place. So I'll try and read them from the colour bands, but I will always have the multimeter to double check each resistor. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that it's a little bit more difficult to read the colour bands on blue-bodied resistors, but we'll do our best, but always verify. So let's turn the soldering iron on and get ready to solder. As usual, I am going to put the resistors in first, so let's start by just selecting resistors and popping them in wherever they happen to go. So this one is red, red, black and brown, so that looks like it's going to be 2.2K. Let me grab a magnifying glass for you here, so hopefully you can also agree with me on that colour band of red, red, black, brown. So 2, 2, 0 and 1 additional 0, and we have the brown tolerance band. So that would be 2.2K. We can check with the multimeter. We're going to need to put it on the 20K range because 2000 is below that. And all we need to do is hold it across the probes here and 2.16. So I'm happy enough with that. That's a 2.2K. Next up, we have this one here, which is orange, orange, black, black, which should be 330. So that's 330 and 0 additional zeros, so 330 ohms. We can pop this now down to the 2000 range. And 324 or so, that's good enough for me, 330 ohms. Then we have this one here, and this can be a little hard to determine which way around we should read this one because it's brown on both ends. But I'm going to guess here that this is brown, black, black, brown. So that's 1, 0, 0 and 1 additional 0, so 1000 ohms with a brown tolerance band. And 958 or so, so yeah, we'll call that 1000. Next, we have this one here, which is red, red, black, red. So that's 220 and then 2 additional zeros for 22K. So let's move this up to the 200K range. And 21.5, good enough again, 22K. Next, we have this one here. And this one is, again, a bit hard to read. This one is yellow, purple, black, and brown. So that's 4, 7, 0 and 1 additional 0. So that should be 4.7K. Again, we need to swap this down to the 20K range. That would be the advantage of a more expensive auto-ranging meter. 4.64, that's good enough for me, 4.7K. Okay, we have another one here. This is another one with a brown tolerance band and a brown start. So this one is probably going to be 1, 0, 0, and red band for 2 additional zeros, bringing us to 10k. So that's brown for 1, 0, 0 on the blacks, and red for 2 additional zeros, 10k. 9.63, close enough. Okay, so this one is a yellow, purple, black, and red. So 4, 7, 0, and 2 additional zeros. So that will give us 47k. Let's check this one as well before we go ahead. So 45.3, close enough to 47. And finally, we have this one, which should be 470 ohms. So let's have a little look here. So yellow, purple, or more correctly, violet, black, black. So 4, 7, 0, and 0 additional zeros. So that's 470. And of course, we can check this one as well. 449. None of these resistors came out precisely as they're supposed to. There could be various reasons for that. That might be the resistors aren't quite as well calibrated as they should be, or it could be my multimeter here. Either way, it doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is to make sure we're in the right order of magnitude, as these resistor numbers are fairly distinct. So I'm just going to hold this slot down with a sausage of blue tack. So there we go, not too bad. Probably snipped some of those a little bit too flat for some people's liking, but that will do the job. Next up, let's do the LEDs. Now we've already been told that the shorter leg is negative, and as I usually say, the anvil inside is usually connected to the negative, and you can almost see it more clearly, so the larger side is on the right-hand side there. There's also a little bit of a flat as well. A bit hard to see, but it's a little bit flattened on that side there to indicate the negative side. But we don't have to rely on that. We have a battery here, so this is clearly marked with a plus sign. Hopefully that's coming across on the camera. And we can make sure we've got these around the right way. And I'm going to touch the long lead to the outside and the short lead to the center there, and you can see these are red LEDs. And on the board, it flows positive to negative. And again, the flat marking is marked here as well on the outline. So we just need to pop all of these LEDs in. As it seems, I have blocked this hole here, so that's a little bit for us to just clean out. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. I'm going to try it with this solder sucker first. Most people have one of these. So what I'm actually going to do is apply a little bit more solder to that pad. So I obviously got some into it when I was soldering the resistor in place. And then I'm just going to touch it here and try and clear it. And there we go, that hole has now been cleared. The other alternative would be to use a desoldering wick or a desoldering gun or desoldering iron. I have both of those, as you might have seen me use before on the channel, but the desoldering tool here is pretty handy. Okay, so they're soldered as well. Some of those are not very evenly cropped. We have the dip switches. So these go in just like so. Okay, that went in quite nicely. And then the last thing we have is this DC barrel jack. Okay, so that looks like it's fully assembled. We just need to have the mounting hardware now. Okay, so there are 2 additional terminals just here for positive and negative, so it's possible to add some wires and power the board through those. But as we have a DC barrel jack here, I have a USB cable just here with a DC barrel jack on the end. So this should allow us to power the device with 5 volts, which is the recommended input voltage. And then we can plug this in. And these are all currently set to off, so let's see what happens when we start turning on switches. So that's the 47K, and that's fairly dim. And let's switch on the one at the other end at 330 ohms, and that's much, much brighter. So this allows us to see the impact of different resistor values on the brightness of the LED. So there's one here at 2.2K. That one is at 10K. And let's try 470 ohms. And you can see how the brightness varies. Let's just turn them all on now, have a little look to see what that looks like. And you can see a nice little sort of fade effect as you go down. And so this is a nice little kit. It lets you see the different brightnesses that you might expect to get from LEDs, at least these particular ones right here. But also, as it says, it helps you think about Ohm's law. And so I, or the current, is the result of the voltage divided by the resistance. And interestingly, voltage is spelled incorrectly there. It should have an A in the middle rather than an O. They spell it correctly on the back here. They explain how you need to calculate it for LEDs in particular. And so here you need to take the source voltage, which is 5, minus the LED voltage, the forward voltage of the LED. And so that's usually 1.5 to 2 volts, depending on the particular type of LED. You can find that detail in the relevant datasheet. This would give us 3 volts in this circumstance if these were indeed 2 volt forward voltage LEDs. For the 1K, for example, here, that gives you 0.003 amps, which is the equivalent of 3 milliamps. And so that's telling us what the power requirements would be of the 1K resistor. So if I turn all these down, oh, my power bank went off there, turn it back on again. If we turn all these off, except the 1K, this is using 3 milliamps. So I think that's all I have to say about this little soldering kit. I will provide a link to an Ohm's law calculator specifically for LED resistor calculations that you can play with online. But for now, I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope to speak to you again soon in the next one.